Hello, my beauties. How's everyone doing? I am doing great. If you are new here, my name is Zonaza and I welcome you to my channel, Life with Zonaza. Please make sure to subscribe if you are into all things feminine beauty, lifestyle, and style. If you are a returning beauty, welcome back. First of all, I want to truly appreciate you for welcoming me back after my mini disappearance. It feels like it was a long time, but it was just a week or two with no videos from me. Life has just been a bit busy on my side, so I truly appreciate you welcoming me back. On today's video, we are doing part 2 of my feminine journey. Judging from your response to the first edition of this, I really truly had to do the second part. Many of you have responded on the comment section, making suggestions and sharing your questions about the journey, as well as on my Instagram. So on today's video, I'm gonna try to answer those questions and add more information that I wasn't able to on the previous video. Of course, if you didn't watch that one, you can watch it. I'll link it here so you can get context of what we are talking about. This journey into becoming a more feminine, softer version of myself is an ongoing one because it's a commitment that I've made to myself, for myself, because I realize that it makes me much happier, and when I'm happier, I look great and I am a lovely person to other people as well. So some of these things I am sharing, these methods that I'm sharing are ongoing for me. I'm constantly learning and getting as much information as I possibly can. To start off today's video though, I want us to first address a few things that femininity is not about, because a lot of the questions that I received hinted that there's a bit of a misunderstanding of what it is about. So to start off, let me debunk a few myths about femininity. First one is the one I touched on last time, that femininity is not a religion. It's just a lifestyle of becoming more aware of your being a woman and doing all that you can to highlight these things so that you can be much happier and more confident. Now, a lot of women that are Christians contacted me asking if this is the right journey to be on as a Christian believing woman. What is the perspective of the Bible regarding femininity? For me, as a Christian woman, I haven't found anything about femininity being opposed to my beliefs. If anything, I found it to be more in line with Christianity, the values of Christianity and the values of being more feminine. For example, on my previous video, I talked about not being a hothead and just being ready to argue. The Bible is very clear on this, that we must be slow to anger, and what we say has the power of breaking a person, and it also has the same power of building. The Bible is clear on that. So being more feminine, I'm being more in touch with my biblical principles that are guiding my life and my Christian lifestyle as well. Another reference I would like to draw on the Bible, if you remember on the book of Esther, at the time where the king of that particular nation that's spoken of there, when he is looking for a queen, who Esther later becomes, the women in that area are given lots of time to prepare themselves, really to look beautiful so that they can take part in this whole search. Which for me, when you are given the time to do your hair, you're given the time to pamper yourself, for any reason, that is reference enough for me that there's nothing wrong with us wanting to look a certain way and taking care of ourselves, caring how our hair looks, how our skin looks, and how well we dress. Also, we can't talk femininity without referencing on Proverbs 31. The Proverbs 31 woman is described as being clothed in dignity and strength, which is tied into one of the misconceptions or myths about femininity. Now, a mistake that I personally made when I started becoming more feminine and becoming more in touch with my femininity is that I started to dress more provocatively, in more revealing clothes, extremely tight clothes, clothes just because I thought that is how to do it. And as I was continuing on that journey, I later realized that actually this is the opposite of it. As a feminine woman, I'm owning myself, I'm rebuilding my values, and becoming less exposed and becoming less common, because just because a lot of women are doing that, I don't have to be doing that. I don't have to be forcing myself into that. And of course, with being more exposed, I'm losing all the power, and I'm just easily accessible, which femininity is not about. It's about self-preservation. So I later realized that no, actually I need to keep some things about myself to myself, self-respecting most importantly. The whole world does not need to see my butt crack, for example. I've been seeing a lot of those pictures on my Instagram, and it's just cringeworthy. For me it would be like overexposed bikinis and with my low neckline on my boobs. There's nothing wrong with showing a bit of skin and all of that, but I later realized that being overexposed, more than anything, it doesn't show confidence on my side. This is my personal take on this. If anything, for me, it references a lot of insecurity and wanting to be approved by people. Of course, you want to be an appealing person, but you also don't want to compromise yourself. That's how I felt when I dressed more naked. The next myth that I'm debunking about femininity is that it is another term for gold diggers, just trying to be intentional with attracting rich men. This one was the funniest for me, and I have observed over the time that I've been researching on this that a lot of people that are talking about this subject, they will always run around, but ultimately end up talking about this rich man that you must attract. I do not subscribe to that belief. I believe in this being a journey into yourself for you to become a better person. Well, if you do happen to attract a rich man in that process, well, then good for you. But personally, I've never really felt that it's some sort of empowerment to want to be with people because of what they have. I'm more for going for a partner who is of great character more than anything, because we've seen a lot of people with a lot of money having these nasty personalities, not being able to keep relationships, being egomaniacs, being narcissists, being abusive. So I completely do not agree with that. Of course, the minute you start taking care of yourself, you will attract better people into your life. They may happen to be rich as well, which is completely fine. But for me to actually say my intention is to bag a baller, yo, that's not what I'm about. And I wouldn't advise anyone to go for that, because with it will come transactional sex. If you are trying by all means necessary, you will end up selling yourself, selling your body, compromising on your values and your beliefs only because you want to attract a rich man, you want to keep a rich man. I would never on any day encourage for that. Basically, a journey into being more feminine is not exactly a hypogamous mindset where you are going out of your way to bag a baller. Though there may be similarities here and there, this is not what my personal journey is about. But just as a bit of a fun fact to reference the Bible, a lot of women will talk about the story of Ruth and Boaz. I believe Boaz was not a good guy for Ruth simply because he had money, but he seems like he was a good guy of character who saw this beautiful woman working and being loyal to the woman that she was with, which is the mother of her late husband. It is not necessarily the only thing that Ruth went for when he saw Boaz and when he was seen by Boaz. Her character made her attractive, and Boaz happened to be a rich man of great character as well. So I'm not saying I'm completely against getting a good guy. Of course, you can get a great guy with all the money and all the great character. But to actually say I'm going for money alone is definitely a no-no for me. The next myth is that women that are into femininity, that are softer, are anti-feminism or anti-feminists. That is not the case with me. I will particularly reference my time as a feminist to my own personal journey, because that was my understanding of feminism. I'm not saying I'm an expert. How I interpreted feminism, I had noticed the characteristics of being hardcore, the characteristics of always being ready to fight. However, I'm not saying every feminist is like that, but my understanding of it, I later realized I was taking it in such a way that I was becoming less happier, and I come first, okay? I also feel like with the people that I'm exposed to, mainly on social media, the fight is there only on social media. I never really see anything more than just arguments on the internet, and all of this activism seems to only happen when something big happens against a woman. Also, I noticed that the anger that was driving it was just too much for me. If anyone seems to be sharing a different view or is questioning some elements to maybe a controversial story between a guy and a girl, if another person is trying to get the perspective of the guy or opening the other person to the idea of the woman being on the wrong in that particular occasion, they are immediately labeled as a woman basher or a rape apologist, for example, or, you know, just that whole mindset of if a person is not a feminist, then they are anti-feminist. That is what I felt, and that is what I was not for. I didn't have, like I said, the anger to fuel it, to fuel my fights, to fuel my activism. Also, another thing that I had picked up at the time was the inconsistency with the then activists that I was exposed to. I'm not gonna mention names, but this particular one is a lovely young writer who always identifies as a feminist. She literally said on her post this one time that, well, she's a feminist on social media, but at home she's throwing it down in the kitchen for her man. I was like, if this whole thing is so great, then why are you being inconsistent with it? You know, I just felt like for me, it was not working. I wanted to be a part of a lifestyle where I am completely myself, wherever I am, not holding a particular view at a certain stage, or when I'm seen by certain people, then I must be like that. For me, I felt it's not gonna work. Otherwise, I have nothing against feminism or feminist, anything like that. It's just that I don't have the energy, you know, to carry it for myself. The last myth I am looking at for this video is that women that are more feminine are doormats. They just, you know, smile and wave at everything that they are thrown with. That's not the case. You still hold strong values. You are a good person of good character, but the only thing you are not willing to do, personally, I am not willing to do, is to force people to see things the way I see them. I will have my opinions and I will share them boldly and confidently, but what I'm not willing to do is to force them on you, okay? I'm not a doormat by that way. You will see for yourself at your right time that maybe I had a good point to make, but what I'm not trying to do, what I'm not ready for, is to drag you into joining my point of view in things, or, you know, get aggressive. I'm not a doormat. I am just keeping to my standards that I've put in place for myself for my own benefit. If you agree with me, you will agree whenever you agree, because honestly, doesn't add or remove anything from me if someone agrees with me or doesn't agree with me. I really am not power hungry. I'm completely okay. Now that those are out of the way, I am gonna go into the first point at being more feminine for this edition of the video. First one is consider the views of the good males that are around you with regards to how you dress and how you look. I know this sounds crazy because you generally don't want to take people's opinions about you, but the good males in your life, like your son, if you have a son, your brother, your good colleagues or husband or partner, will be very honest with you on things. Some of them will be harsh, I don't know, but I'm blessed in that the people in my life are really kind when they share something with me. Quick example, there's a colleague of mine who works in the exact section as me at work. There was a time where I got a little carried away with my weight loss. he was like, yo, Nalo, my friend, you know I love you, right? But now you're looking a little too small. I miss you. And he was laughing, making the moves like he misses my sassy ways, like my curves and all that. At first I was like, hey, I won't. And I know for sure this is someone who has nothing to gain. He has no sexual interest in me, but he was just sharing his opinion. His opinion matters because he is a man, I'm a woman, and at the time I was actually even looking. I still want to be attractive. I'm not even gonna lie about this. So it matters to me what a guy thinks about me. Also, my son will sometimes say, he said this a few days ago, he said, yo, mama, I think your foundation is a little too bright today. Your face is looking, well, he didn't say foundation because I don't think he knew what was off. And on that day, I had actually been wearing a foundation shade that is not mine. So if a young man such as my son can see that, it's important that I consider that. And sometimes my husband will have some things that he will say, yo, baby, you don't look too nice in this thing and all that. And my husband, funny enough, I always notice that when it is something on the more muscular side, he will not approve much of it. For example, there's another one of his shirts that I took. That one is way too big. He said to me, you are baby, but this one, you don't look so nice in that one. So for me, I find that the men that genuinely care for us, that are in our lives, their opinions matter, because of course they hold the masculine energy, which is the direct opposite of the energy that we are trying to nourish within ourselves, that we're trying to embrace. So there is completely no harm in taking their opinions. Of course, you don't want to be ruled by other people's opinions, but just consider, especially because these are coming from the people that are closest to you, that actually care about you, not just strangers on the internet. If anything, strangers on the internet will say, bring in all the naked pictures because it feeds something within them. So I would highly recommend considering the opinions of the closest males that are in your life. Also on this one, because sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves and all the changes that our bodies go through, you know, how we look on certain clothes. For me, again, it will go to my zaddy, that when I had just had the kids, I was not feeling so cute because my bum got a lot bigger than it normally is. But for him, that was like a nice time. So that really did help me embrace myself more, because this is someone that I know genuinely cares about me, and if he is attracted to anything about me being more womanly, then that is true. There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, this advice, as of any of my advice, is to be taken with personal consideration. I'm not saying this is for everyone else, but I'm saying consider it. All right. The next point is coming from the questions I received on Instagram regarding femininity. This one lady asked, what can you do when you work in a male-dominated environment? Well, in my particular case, this is not the norm like you would find in industries like being a cop or traffic officer. This question came from a traffic cop actually. So it may be different, but I will share a suggestion. In my case, where I work, we are about 4 women in my unit. I have shared on the time that I worked as a journalist. So again, just be mindful to keep good friends that are females, and also constantly remind yourself as a woman in such a space that you are a woman. Try to keep in touch with yourself. Try not to adopt the language that the boys use. Try not to dress as they do. Just constantly be aware that you are a woman even though you are in that space. Also, you can keep your lip glosses in your pocket, you know, even if you're gonna be working under that car, under that truck, you know, keep your lip gloss on. Also, make sure to keep your very fancy, freely feminine underwear under all your clothes. Obviously, if you're wearing your mining gear, your firefighter gear, you know you have that little softness within you. Also, your scent is also there to keep reminding you that, girl, you are a girl. And of course, if you work in an industry where there is a uniform, like you see the cops or the traffic cops, when you are in that space, you can go for the female version of your uniforms. Okay, I've seen this one and it actually got me aspiring to be like a cop at some stage. I was thinking, oh, their uniforms look so nice. They have the lovely pencil skirts and they put on their stockings and their mini heels, you know. So if you are a cop, just try and wear that kind of uniform. Also, make sure to debrief from your job, because every single day you are exposed to all this hardcore stuff. So maybe when you get home, you get your self-care routine going, you know, watch a movie, read a book, read the Bible, you know, something that's gonna give your heart that softness that it's been lacking all day. And of course, keep those lipsticks, keep those little pockets of femininity that I talked about on the previous video, being more intentional at the working space. And back to wardrobe again for this next point. I did touch on what you can do, what changes you can make in all the items in your wardrobe. However, for someone who is starting out, someone who had been hardcore and dressing like a boy all her life, it's not gonna be as easy as it would be for someone like myself. The way I was transitioning from a medium place, really. It was more behavioral for me more than wardrobe. So for this particular lady, she is asking because she has been a tomboy all her life. I've had my tomboy phase, which I've spoken about. I would highly recommend starting small. Starting, for example, if you don't usually do your nails, maybe start doing your nails. And with the actual outfits themselves, you can start looking at embracing some particular features to your body. Because when you're a tomboy, most of the time you're covered up in all these boyish clothes. Now, when you start being more aware, maybe you're hiding some gorgeous legs there. So you can start off by just wearing shorts or wearing a skirt. I know it sounds crazy, especially particularly thinking about this particular friend who asked about this. So you start small. You don't just, you know, go all the way into the frilly dresses. You will feel forced, and you don't necessarily have to go all that far. You know, you can still maintain your original self, but make those small changes and also get into understanding why are you covering up. That's always a good way of starting to change something that you're not happy about. Because of course, for this question to even come up, you are no longer happy dressing that way. So maybe retrace, why are you dressing that way? Maybe you are dressing to cover your boobs because some people were making comments about your boobs at a certain stage. You know, you're taking your power back now, wanting to understand why you've been covering up. And then from there, you will heal, and we will see you looking all fresh or feminine or sweet and girly. So you start small. The next thing you can do to really enjoy this journey and become more feminine, soft, and beautiful is by journaling your journey. You know, keeping a full diary of how far you've come, and, you know, just starting out to be more aware of yourself, how certain things make you feel, how you would rather feel. And also, if you start picking up a few of these points that I spoke about, journal on those things. Say, okay, if you had an intention to set the time for your self-care, put that down. I did this on a particular day. I felt really good. I felt so soft. I shared my feelings to a friend of mine about a particular case at work. It felt so good, really, to be emotional again, to feel something. I prayed about a particular situation. I started to see some changes in this. So when you are more aware of yourself and more in touch with how far you have come and your intentions for the future and your present, you become more softer. One of the ways I make sure that I'm soft and feminine is by giving. It's one of those natural traits of a woman to be giving. You always have something to give. That's what I believe. I will give maybe moments of my time to share my experiences to people that are needing them, experiences pertaining to life or my career. For example, when a young makeup artist comes to me asking a few things, I will give the time to actually plant something into her journey by talking to her, and some giving will also be of particular goods. As a life giver, as a woman, as a mother, as a female, you are working well within what you are created to do, and you will flourish at being that feminine, soft, beautiful, lovely woman. One of the things to watch out for when you are trying to become more refined and more feminine is your language. Sometimes by spending a lot of time with men, you end up speaking like they do. I know this for myself. I would catch myself using terms like yo mfethu or yo dude. I later realized that no man, I shouldn't be sounding like that. I'm not a boy, I'm a lady. I must sound like a lady. So being mindful of your language also helps you become more feminine. Speak like a woman. You know, this is not anything to do with a pitch. You don't have to be high pitched, but your choice of words and your choice of language will make you feel softer. And you know, even in your approach to people, they will be more interested in helping you when you sound like the lady that you are, because most of this really is just about embracing your womanhood and not trying to be anything else other than being a woman. And of course, using profanity and all of that is also unladylike and feminine. So I also struggled with this many years ago, like finding myself swearing every second line. I noticed that no, this is not classy, this is not feminine. So I'm always mindful of this. And of course, again, to link back to that question on Christianity, also profanity is against my Christian guidelines. So it helps me both ways as a Christian woman and as a feminine woman to not swear. One of the things that I've done that I know for sure has helped me on my journey is smiling more. I noted on my previous video on this matter that you ladies were saying, you are so beautiful, da 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 da. And I was thinking, it's not even that. I just smile more. When you smile more and genuinely from your heart, really honestly, like, I can't not smile when I'm talking to people. It's something that I've told myself that I need to do. And, you know, I just genuinely dig into my joy from within myself so that I can smile, because I feel like I become more appealing when I smile and I look prettier than I actually am. One of my most favorite features, if not my favorite feature, is my smile. I know a lot of ladies will say they have crooked teeth, and I'm speaking from a point of an advantage because I have nice teeth. Honestly, I feel like every smile is beautiful, but if you feel like yours is to the extremes, maybe you can seek out help, you know, to get them fixed. But we certainly look more inviting, feminine, soft, and beautiful when we smile. So sis, do smile more. Now, with that said, we have reached the end of this video. I could still go on for more and more. As you guys can tell, this is a subject matter that I'm really passionate about. But my lovely daughter, who has not adopted her feminine traits yet, broke my tripod and ring light, all of that. So I have to wrap this video here today. If you found anything that you related to, that you enjoyed in this video, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button and comment on the comment section below. If you are not subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe and ensure that this family grows more and more every single day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you on my next video.